Hello and welcome to this episode of FDN News In-Depth. I'm your host, Bryce Lippe, and today I'm joined by Interim Forester head baseball coach, Thad Frame. And Coach, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, Bryce. Thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to it.
So, how many years have you been involved with HU baseball? Pretty much your whole life?
Yeah, whole life. My father, I believe, started coaching when I was 1 or 2 years old. So, obviously, my whole life has been HU baseball and being down at Forest Glen Park.
So, your dad, obviously, there's been a lot of things going on in the last couple months, and that's caused you to take over his position for the time being. Can you take us through the events of what transpired?
To be honest with you, it was a little bit of COVID, a little bit of some issues he's had before. But in November, right before we went on Thanksgiving break, he came down with COVID. Our team got impacted with that a little bit. And at first it was just typical COVID. Then it turned into kind of a severe pneumonia. And then in a matter of days, it kind of turned into some life-threatening situations for him. He had a baseball-sized blood clot in his heart. That clot eventually broke up and went to one of his legs, his right leg, and then that clot ended up taking his right leg, so he had to lose his right leg. So that's kind of where we're at right now. He's still got some issues he's working with himself and with our family, but we're just kind of taking it head on right now.
How have your players handled this?
They've handled it. It's difficult. Anytime you lose your head coach, it's difficult. I won't say it's been, it's been easy, but we have a good group of seniors. We have a good group this year. The leadership that our seniors and just our team overall has kind of helped bridge the gap between myself and my father. He has built an extremely strong program, and with that comes a strong culture. And those guys understand what it takes to be successful. And even though he's not there, it's been difficult at times, but those guys have stepped up and they've really helped out.
How have you handled it as, you're his son and this is happening to your dad?
Yeah, it's been tough at certain points. I won't lie to you about that, but sometimes you don't have time to really think about it. You're trying to take care of mom, dad, you're trying to take care of brother and sister. And then obviously with Coach Frame being a head coach, you've got 35 young men that you have to kind of, take care of as well. So sometimes you don't really get to self-reflect or think about yourself, which is fine. But just trying to put my head down and try to take care of the people that I care about, obviously my family, and my baseball guys are my family as well.
Turning to this season, obviously last year you guys didn't get to play. The season got wiped out due to COVID.
Yeah.
What has it been like for your players to get back out there and just simply play some baseball?
It's been refreshing. It's definitely something that we don't take for granted anymore. This time last year, if you were to ask us if our season would be ended, we would have laughed at you. So we definitely cherish the time that we have together because we understand that at any point it can get taken away from us. So, when we got to get out, we went to Alabama about a month ago and play our first game in about a year. You could just tell on our guys' faces it was just good to be back on a ball field and get to play a game that we absolutely love.
You took 3 out of 4 against Grace. What kind of momentum does that bring to the rest of the season moving forward? Anytime
you're playing 4-game series, 4 games in a row, it's tough to win all 4. We felt like we definitely left one of those games out there versus Grace. But to be able to win a series, take 3 out of 4, that's ultimately your goal every time you go out on the weekend is to try to win a series. So to get 3 out of 4, we're happy with. We're a little greedy at times and wanted that 4th game, but you're always happy when you can win 3 out of 4 games.
It's as though the light switch was flipped between the first game of the series and the 4th. Can you talk about why you think that is between the first game of the series, the way that ended, the tough loss in Game 1, through the rest of the series? Because basically you guys dominated the rest of that series.
That's a great question. I think the first game we got out toughed a little bit. we also got humbled a little bit. We thought if we showed up and just showed up to play that we were going to win. Winning a game of baseball is very difficult. And to Grace's credit, they went out and beat us that first game. And we got humbled a little bit, and we didn't play up to our level. We left a lot of men on base. And if we would have just shown some toughness in some key areas, I think we would have maybe came out on top. But anytime you lose, you get humbled a little bit. So, obviously after that first game, we had a message for them, and they responded, and they played really well the last 3 games.
What did you say to your players specifically between games 1 and 2?
I challenged the leadership. I challenged some guys individually. We play a very aggressive style of baseball, and we were not playing that way. So I challenged them to make sure that they're taking care of, obviously their roles, but honestly as a team, we just didn't show up to play and to compete. And that was kind of the biggest message, was if you want to get to where you want to be, you're going to have to compete every single day. And I didn't feel like they did that first game, and so, to be honest with you, we just challenged them.
How have the upperclassmen done specifically in terms of the leadership aspect?
We are fortunate to have a couple guys return. Alex McCutcheon is a 5th-year guy, Mason Shinneberry, Eli Canoons. We were fortunate to have those guys back. They could have moved on and ended their baseball careers. So to have those guys come back for a 5th year has been very helpful for our coaching staff, just because those top players are usually part of your coaching staff and they're part of your leadership group. So to have them and their experience has been very key for us, especially losing Coach Frame.
Finally, one last question for you, Coach. As far as the big picture and the end of the season, if you had a few goals for your team, what might they be?
The goals are simple. We talk about them every single day. We want to defend our conference championship. We want to make it to an opening round national tournament. We want to compete nationally every year. And then, honestly, we want to be able to get to Idaho, which is our championship, kind of our World Series. So we put a lot of pressure on our guys. There's an expectation year in, year out to compete at a national level, and that's obviously the goal. We talk about it every single day.
Coach, thank you so much, and good luck with the rest of the season, and not only the season, but we'll be praying for you as you deal with the situation with your dad, and glad to hear he's doing well. But thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Bryce. This was a lot of fun. I appreciate it.
And thank you for watching this episode of FDN News In Depth. For Coach Frame, I'm Bryce Lippe. Have a great night.